So the game is about to start. We saw, like I said, kmar and Douel-elimination beforehand on Torn Islands, which was a decently close game, but kmar just... They flanked out and won. Got hovercrafts, got the right flank, got the harassment in, and Douel did not take that choke point well enough. Didn't push through. Not sure they really had a chance at all. So here this goes in the Rock final. The Rock looks like it is a considerably... Well, it's got a big river with a bunch of bridges in the middle, so it could probably work for the same sort of strategy. And the game is going to be starting up right away. So wait until that's done, and then... Or once that's started up, not done. Starting! Not done. Not done yet. Nowhere near. Will be soon. Don't worry, it'll all be over soon. Probably in about an hour or two, because it is best of 3. Depends on how even the matches are. We know Douel-elimination has a tendency for longer games. I wouldn't be surprised if Douel-elimination, either in the tiebreaker or if kmar wins match 1, that Douel, if they're thinking it's the last match, is going to just play it as long as possible. Would not surprise me if that happened. I'd be rather annoyed, but it wouldn't surprise me. But at the same time, we are still waiting on kmar, I think. No, not waiting for either player, just waiting for the start. Oh, we are waiting on kmar. Kmar needs to change their color to something not purple, apparently. There we go. So we shall now... Well, we would have begun, I guess Douel got knocked out. There we go, okay, Douel's back in. We are going to be starting out very shortly. Eventually. When the players are ready. There we go, the start has happened. The game is... I'll go over Rock once the game is loaded. I'll go over the map, because that is going to be a map I actually haven't shown off before. In fact, not a map I've seen before, come to think of it. I'll have to check it out. Take a good look at it before it's all set up, and... No. Didn't quite time it right. Anyway, like I said, big river, and these are actually underwater bridge-esque things. They're shallows. So I think that there is room for ships to get around here in the river. I doubt that'll happen, though. But it looks like, actually, maybe kmar is focused very heavily on that. Surprisingly focused on that. I mean, Douel, look at all the economy. Look at all the metal Douel has. And kmar just focusing so heavily on the shore. I don't know why. Honestly, kmar probably should go on the other side and maybe have a tiny bit into the shore. But no, kmar focusing very heavily on the shore, and they are basically going to be... They have 3 metal extractors they can get to. I gotta be missing something. Are there underwater metal extractors? Oh, there are. There's one over here and over here. Okay, so there are a few metal extractors. If I were to hit... I think I actually see what they are if I go to here. No. Where is it? There we go. Metal extractors. Yes, there's 2 in the water. That's still only 5. Wow, okay, so kmar has put themselves in a really tight spot. Douel, on the other hand, they have tons of metal extractors open to them. They're going for the standard 5-2 into air plant. Well, I don't know. Is this going to be naval? That's not going to work very well, but I have no idea what's going on here. Lots of power. Another metal extractor up here, which will be out of range. I'm not sure what... And then vehicle plant, but I'm not sure what kmar was trying to do. That really doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I gotta be honest. I don't understand why kmar went to such a low economy section of the map. And they're gonna need to build workers ASAP. Oh no, actually they can build it far. Never mind, their attack range is apparently slightly smaller than their build range. But even then, the build range isn't that big. It's still kind of pushing it. Or maybe if I go to reclaim... No, I don't know. I can't see the build range. Darn. Oh, I can. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, so the build range is the green circle. And it's, okay, 8 metal extractors compared to... Well, probably about a 13, 14 metal extractor start point for Douel. Yeah, and the airplane factory is just being done. I keep forgetting this thing because docking does not exist for NOTA. Anyway, Douel is just now setting that up. Getting a very quick scout into more freedom fighters. Well, the the vehicle factory has been started. No, it is a K-Bot lab, my mistake. It's hard to tell from the side sometimes. What does the vehicle lab look like again? Oh, right, it looks like the light vehicle plant from 0K. Okay, anyway, K-Bot lab being built up, and nothing yet. Oh, no, never mind. Sprinters are being built from there. And the first peeper is up. Then we have more Hellfires from there. Or Freedom Fighters from there. And, oh, shit, didn't do that right. Every game, every single game I keep doing that. Anyway, if I select the factory and change the players, it'll rebuild the list, and then it ends up holding that up. So it doesn't matter. The point is, Daniil has a massive economic advantage. Daniil right now has 14 metal compared to 12 for Kmar, but this is the only time they're going to be near parity unless some Necros are made, and made quickly. But they aren't. Sprinters are being made, and admittedly, no constructors for Daniil, but Daniil doesn't need them. Daniil has 14 metal spots right available. Right, immediately available, and it's 1.7 metal each too. So that's very easily about 25 metal. Right there, by their start point, which is not true of Kmar's start point. The Kmar has actually been spotted out. Kmar does not know where Daniil is, but knows that Daniil is going for heavy air. Whether Kmar decides to go for anti-air themselves, it remains to be seen, but I'm guessing probably we'll see that. And metal in the water. That's the last couple metal spots that are available here. I think this one might be available, might be close enough, but it's hard to say. I think, actually, yeah, it will be, because you don't have to build a metal extractor immediately on that point. It could be near it. But still, one Sprinters is moving forward, trying to scout this out, and I think that the Freedom Fighter can't hit it. That Sprinters is going through the canyon, trying to get it through, and it's going to see, eventually it's going to see Daniil's force. Going to see Daniil's everything, really. But, yeah. Okay, Vanishai pointing out that ships can work well for locking off the map, which is a bit of a point. I will grant that. But it's also a point that it doesn't... I don't know how much sense it makes when you're getting out this early in the game. Especially going for K-Bot like this, not going for ships. And ships aren't even in the cards. We're seeing an air factory being built up with K-Bot factory, so both players are going for air K-Bot, ultimately. And the K-Bot factory actually is complete for Daniil, starting up some Rockos while Sprinters coming in here. And is Kmar is building an AK and an Avenger. Well, now just building an AK and starting to build an Avenger once that factory is done. But honestly, there isn't much. The Necro is up. It is building more metal extractors, but no C factory at all. So Kmar not even taking advantage of this position yet. They might later on. I don't know, but they certainly aren't yet. I don't think it would have really helped. I mean, maybe. It's kind of tough to say because they would have relied a lot on static defenses to take the ground. But at the same time, they would also have the entire sea, and that's quite a lot of territory they can control. Like, this entire coastal area is basically theirs, or at least can't be taken. They can't quite get to the tower, but they can still deal with everything at the coast pretty effectively. And like I said, just need some static defenses in order to deal with anything attacking on the ground. At this point, though, that's kind of irrelevant. Yeah, right now, Daniil has an economic advantage, which they typically do, although it's very slight, and the Necro is up, so it's not like Kmar has no way of building themselves up. They can still get going. They have a Necro over in the northwest, they have a Necro over to the east side of their tower. They are building up on these metal spots. And there's nothing really harassing them. No anti-ground units yet. Surprisingly, actually. Peeper's coming in here. Toadfoot, there we go. Okay, so Toadfoot is going to be coming in for Daniil in about a minute or so. And a lot of Rockos. That is a lot of Rockos. Rockos and shooters are coming in. Coming in on the north side and will be dealing quite a bit of damage too. And it looks like an early Toadfoot coming in. Not Toadfoot, an early Avenger coming in, which will try to deal with the Freedom Fighter, but can't actually manage it. Yeah, it has the Avenger very much. Sorry, the Avenger has the Freedom Fighter very much on its 6, and it's not going to last. And there's the Toadfoot earlier than I expected, actually. Is this accurate to what's going on? No, not entirely. Oh, yeah, it's accurate to what's going on, but it was not something I was paying too close attention to. So yeah, there are a few Toadfoots already on the field as it is. Yeah, 2 Toadfoots. One of them, I think, is in production. Yep, one of them is in production. Still. Oh, we do have a K-Bot lab on the other side of the coast. Turns out it's just long enough can build a K-Bot lab over there. which will allow for a Necro to be built and actually that entire southwest side to be taken. So nice job, Kmar. That's a good strategy there. That placement actually does work out. The Necros are required, so it did slow things down a bit, but given that it was early air and primarily early scouts from Daniil, I think this is going to work. So right now, Daniil's at 22 and Kmar's at 26. So Kmar's actually ahead economically. Hasn't converted that yet into military, but doesn't have to. Not yet. Eventually, these Rocos are incoming. They're taking their sweet time, but they are incoming. The Sprinters, I don't know if they'll be able to beat the Rocos outright, especially not in this area. Sprinters have no room to dodge. But looks like they're going to try, and I should point out that in terms of radar, Kmar is well aware of what's going on here, and wait. Oh, this is Kmar. Oh. Wait, I was reversing Kmar to nil clean this entire time. Okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, Kmar is aware of what's going on over here. And they are actually economically even, so that reversal doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, Kmar is player 1 apparently, and Daniil is player 2. Okay, good to know. So yeah, Kmar is not quite breaking ahead yet. This has been scouted up, and the Necro is up, which is the important thing. So Kmar can build that up. And the Rocos continuing to march their long, long, long march. While a bunch of Sprinters just go for a counterattack. Not even going to defend, just a counterattack. The Necro's building up a Fury, building up a defensive turret. Don't know how that's going to work out. I don't think it's going to work out too well. The Rocos probably outrange it, but let's see. Let's be sure. So the Rocos are... crying out loud. The Rocos have a range of 480, and the Fury has a range of 600. So no, the Fury does outrange the Rocos. So we'll see how that goes. There is a good chance that it will be somewhat effective. However, Toadfoot coming in here, which will tear apart the southwest expansion attempts. And every attempt to actually use that. So Avengers coming in to try to deal with those Toadfoots. Actually, he's going to get rid of that one Toadfoot. Toadfoot goes down. Second Toadfoot, however, is also going to go down. His Avengers nicely defending the area, though it took a little while. Got rid of both Toadfoots, though. And no more Freedom Fighters are going to be coming in there. So at this point, the southwest side is Kmar's. The north side, oh, getting flanked. Nice, cutting off the supply lines of the Rocos. Not a whole lot of defense at this point, and there are still about 16 Rocos or so, but they are cutting off the lines. These Sprinters going for a nice counterattack. Just, that is really, really well done. These Sprinters might be able to actually kill off the factory. This is an armed command center after all, so it does have a slightly slower attack speed. And the missiles take a while to get in, too. I don't know if the attack speed's slower, but the missiles certainly do take a while longer than a laser. And down goes the K-Bot lab. So that's one of Daniil's labs. Daniil does have 2 air plants, though. That's all Daniil has at the moment. 2 air plants. That's it. And from here, it'll be basically death, but these last few Sprinters will be able to get out of here. And the Rocos are here for a counterattack, but there's enough in the way of thuds and... actually, even the defense is doing a good job. But yeah, between the thuds and the thuds, this is all thuds. Yeah. Between all the thuds, there's not really a way for the Rocos to get out of here, so the Sprinters did a really good job there. Broke Daniil's lines and stopped the reinforcements. Stopped the reinforcements completely by destroying that K-Bot lab. Well done. And the southwest is being very nicely taken. So right now, Daniil has... wait. Sorry. 30... wait, what? 27 for... oh, yeah, right, because the northwest was harassed. So at this point, Kmar's still holding even. Daniil actually getting slightly ahead on metal from Reclaim. And we'll be rebuilding K-Bot Lab, but yeah, getting Reclaim income... well, darn it. Didn't want to actually do that. Shoot. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, the hammers coming in here, which... sorry, the thuds, I mean, not hammers. Equivalent unit, but yeah, the thuds coming in here, forcing the Rocos back. And a nice flank on the Sprinters just to finish them off. Not really close enough to reclaim, but it doesn't much matter. I mean, like I said, the southwest is being taken. The northwest is being retaken. The Necro is right here. Or, not a Necro, that's just DCA. There's the Necro. Necro is going right here. We'll be able to rebuild all of that. And the Sprinters, and looks like, yeah, all Sprinters coming in here to deal with the Rocos from behind. Cut them off once again. And the K-Bot factory, while still up again, not doing too great. So right now, 24 metal for Daniil and 26 for Kmar. So despite losing the northwest, Kmar is still ahead, though that's without Reclaim. Reclaim not being taken into account in this particular case. And the Rocos doing a decent job defending themselves against the Sprinters, but they are still being forced back by the thuds. And the Sprinters, well, Sprinters and Thud combo taking them out pretty effectively. Reinforcements are forthcoming, though. They are going through the canyon rather than going up that mountain, or up that ridge. At the same time, the Southwest is being taken more and more. 30 metal right now for kmar, while 26 for Daniil. kmar with 2 air factories, building up these Avengers in both cases? Yeah, building up Avengers. Really keen on getting that air dominance. 7 Avengers against 3 Toadfoots. Yeah, kmar has air dominance. Unlike the game in Valus Mariners, is that kmar and Valus Mariners? I think it was, yeah, Golda and kmar, where kmar could never get air dominance. Now kmar has managed to get the air dominance. And that's going to be a big deal, because this Southwest is unassailable right now. Nothing at all that Daniil has can deal with the Southwest side of the map, which kmar is taking with impunity. And kmar can pretty much harass out anything. Once kmar has full air control, we could be seeing Vasps, we could be seeing, what are these? Yeah, Shadows. We could be seeing a lot of powerful stuff there. Darn it. I really wish that wouldn't show up. I wish I'd not have that show up. But anyway, we'd be seeing a lot of powerful units there. And that will likely be coming out pretty soon. We still have just the Freedom Fighters so far. Actually, that's Daniil, sorry. We still have the Avengers so far coming in. But it looks like there isn't really much to be said about this other than it's going to come down to whether or not basically this main base can be broken before kmar manages to turn this into a massive military advantage. And it's already kind of a massive military advantage. The Southwest side can't easily be dealt with. And the Northwest side is just pretty packed up by defenses. And there are just thuds hanging out just in case the Rockos come in once again. The Northwest side is fairly secured. The center is fairly secured. Can't easily be broken right now. Not with the forces coming in, at least. Not with the Pee-wees coming in. And at this point, Daniil, 34 metal. So ahead once again. Oh, sorry, that's Daniil. Once again, Daniil's at 29. It's kmar that's at 36 with 2 air factories, 3 K-Bot labs, and what is this? And a Valkyrie factory. Oh, interesting. Okay, so getting some transports up. Makes sense in this. On a map this size, that really does make sense. Probably going to try to take the thuds over, either the thuds or start building up some pyros and use those instead. What are we building up here? Sprintress, Necro, and AK. Not quite sure what's going to be used, but yeah, Vasps are now being built, like I said. Now the air dominance has been secured. Vasps can be built with impunity, and as a result, this entire army here, everything here that Daniil has, is quite vulnerable. Daniil does not have any ground-based anti-air at the moment. Has not been focusing on that. Been focusing very heavily on Rocco Pee-wee. Getting some Freedom Fighters of their own to try to get back in the game. 9 Freedom Fighters to 8 Avengers. 9 Avengers, sorry. Fairly even. I think Freedom Fighters might be a tad weaker. I'm not totally sure. No, actually, Avengers are slightly weaker. Never mind. Avengers is the slightly weaker option, and I think Toadfoots will be coming in soon after now that, well, maybe not. Maybe the confidence has been restored, but 3 air factories are in for Daniil. Building up quite a lot. 3 Freedom Fighters per compared to the 2 air factories, building up 2 Avengers per for kmar. So Daniil trying to get back air dominance and is doing a pretty decent job. This one Avenger is a bad example. It's a bad example for the Avengers. However, the Freedom Fighter. 2 of the Freedom Fighters do manage to take that out. I think they took out did they take out a Vasp? Yes, they did. They took out a Vasp. So punishing that confidence. At the same time, we do have a Valkyrie factory. I'm not quite sure what the Valkyrie is going to be used for, though. I don't really see any major units coming in. Just more Sprinters and Pee-wee, unless that just entire Sprinters army is going to be airlifted all the way into here to try to take out the tower directly. I suppose that's possible. I don't know that's going to happen, but it's definitely plausible. I could see that happening. I could see that actually being quite successful. But we'll see. I'm not sure what's going to happen. We have nothing yet. Avengers just going around trying to deal with these Freedom Fighters and not doing a particularly good job of it. At this point, there are 5 Avengers to 10 Freedom Fighters, so air dominance is going into Daniil's favor. But the Southwest side has been taken very heavily in the meantime. So even if kmar loses air dominance, they still have, at this point, 1.5 times the economy. And actually, that's a lot of AKs. And a few crashes too, just in case. just in case air needs to be dealt with. But it looks like these AKs are probably what's going to be airlifted all the way into the base, because they aren't doing much over here. They just sort of are, but the Splinterous here... the Sprinterous are managing to deal with basically this entire canyon worth of units. Getting rid of the Pee-wees, getting rid of the Roccos, trying to break through the canyon over to the north. A flank attempt coming from Daniil, but that canyon is stopping them very heavily. And now that force from kmar can just move straight through the canyon, get rid of this metal extractor, and possibly get rid of the K-bot factory once again. Skybus coming in for Daniil, but I don't think it's going to be in time. However, that attack is being... okay, it's retreating. For some reason, I don't know why, it is in fact retreating. The Sprinters actually could have pushed pretty much all the way through. Not because of these Pee-wees. These Pee-wees can't be countered directly from that. It's too late. And it looks like one of the K-bot factories... this K-bot factory is idle. This K-bot factory is building up more Sprinterous, as usual. And the K-bot factory over to the south is building up a bunch of AKs. And yes, that's exactly what's happening. The Valkyries are picking up the AKs. Picking up as many AKs as they can. We'll probably airlift those either across here, because there is a land bridge they could have walked. So they probably won't be airlifted over here, but they probably will be airlifted into the main base, deal with the tower. However, these are a lot of Pee-wees, and they might be just going for a quick kill. The tower being over in the center here, or rather on the coast, does leave it fairly vulnerable, and the Sprinters actually do manage to get back in time. Just barely, but they do get back in time, and the Valkyries... are they dropping off units? Yes, they are dropping off units. A few AK... actually, a few dozen AKs. Like, a dozen AKs being dropped off right here. It looks like the capacity is about 10 or so. Yeah, a dozen AKs getting dropped off, getting rid of the Pee-wees. However, Freedom Fighter coming in here to get rid of the Valkyrie. Unfortunately for the Valkyrie, because that's kind of something that was needed here. I don't know, are they going to be... no, there are some Hellfish. Just to deal with everything here so far. Deal with the mass of units that kmar has built up. And kmar appears to be setting up for another attack, trying to break through the canyon and possibly attack directly. The Avenger, however... how many Avengers are there? Currently 3, compared to somewhere around 10 or so Freedom Fighters. 9 Freedom Fighters, sorry. No Toadfoots that I can see, though. But a lot of Hellfish. Definitely a lot of Hellfish. 6 Hellfish coming in, 3 to the north, and looks like 3 to the south. Possibly 3. No, 3 just in the main base. And that's going to be very powerful for dealing with this. I mean, the Roccos are doing a not great job. They're going to be going down fairly quickly. Well, except for the Pee-wees running interference, but a good flank will take them out. Not happening, though. No one's really been flanking a whole lot. Notice that. It's no real tactics. It's kind of annoying. And this Valkyrie going to be heavily damaged. The Freedom Fighters do spot it out and just descend upon it like a pack of crows. This is not going to work very well for it. No, Valkyrie's gone down, as have several kmar... sorry, several of the K-bots, several of the AKs that kmar had built up. Like, this is not really working out well. kmar building up yet another air factory to try to regain air dominance. Might be too late, though. And 2 more air factories. Yeah, there's apparently yet another air factory being built up. Sheesh. Yeah, this is kind of why I extended it top to bottom, because there are a lot of factories being built up. And the Avengers coming in here, getting rid of a Hellfish. That's good, because the Hellfish are being a real pain. At the same time, an attack along the south coast from kmar, bypassing the center canyon, which does mean that Daniil is not going to be as well defended over there. Possibly get rid of this K-bot lab. If it gets rid of this K-bot lab, that's going to be huge. Getting rid of that K-bot lab would have the amount of K-bots at this point, because there are 2 K-bot labs right now. But yet another air factory being built up for Daniil. This is becoming entirely air war. 4 air facts right now from... again, they're fully running too. And the economy is fairly even as well. In fact, Daniil is slightly ahead on reclaim, but yeah, overall it's fairly even. Like this, so we have kmar at 50 and Daniil at about 40, but it depends on reclaim. So yeah, overall this is becoming a little hard to call. And actually, these AKs being forced back, not sure if just because they wanted to avoid getting out of position or what, but they're being forced back, and that's a lot of damage being dealt. Also a lot of... oh my crap, that's getting really, really hard on the computer for some reason. So I apologize for the slight frame rate drop. Apparently the CPU is fine, but it's actually trying to tax my graphics card, apparently. Anyway, the point is, Hellfish are coming in, and it looks like Daniil, I think Daniil might be able to take... Is Daniil going to try to take this? I don't think Daniil's going to take this from here. I don't think it's going to be enough. Daniil's going to try, though, and actually is going to start... Are they attacking the central? It looks like they might be. Apparently the central consciousness actually increases its health by hitting things. Didn't realize that. It's max health. That's interesting. I wonder if that's true of the arm one, too. But it doesn't matter. One of the K-bot factories is down for kmar, and kmar with no counterattack of their own. That Valkyrie drop never really getting off the ground. Yet another... Well, actually, a K-bot factory being replaced. I mean, at this point, kmar just doesn't really have... Like, they have the economic advantage. They're actually starting to float. Despite the fact that they have more factories, they're still starting to float. They could probably build to get another factory on top of this. But yeah, not much is really going on. And like I said, this whole thing here, the Valkyries might be able to go through. There is one... Actually, there's two. They are being sent out. They are now going to try to go for this. Because if this is successful, if this hits the tower and tears it apart. Because right now, the arm tower is 14... Okay, 14,239, so it apparently does also gain health by dealing damage. Yeah, right now kmar's tower is fairly strong, fairly tough. And there's some defenses in place, but not a huge amount, unfortunately for kmar. They exist, they aren't huge. The Valkyries are being put in, though. Like, one, maybe two... Actually, I think 2 or 3 Valkyries worth just in case it gets intercepted. Right now, Daniil does have... Where's Daniil's vision? Come on, show me the vision. Okay, apparently that hotkey is no longer working. That sucks. Anyway, Daniil probably has radar of that. And the Valkyrie is being used for defense. No, let's just go for the kill, kmar. That's your only hope right now, is to go for an immediate kill, hit the tower directly. Okay, so apparently things gain experience when they hit, or at least the main tower does. Which is why it's getting as big as it is. Yeah, that Valkyrie needs to go into the main base. It needs to be used for a penetrative assault. Don't use it for defense. You will not win on defense. You have lost the defensive war. Your base will be overrun, kmar. You must go for the kill. Go for the kill or you will lose. Actually, its frame rate's gotten back to normal. But anyway, that is the killing blow. Why, kmar? Why must you not go for that? I can understand there's a bit of an air concern because the air is dominated by the Freedom Fighters, but I think the Valkyrie will be able to get in close enough and drop off like 2 or 3 Valkyries, of which there are 2 Valkyries. Just fill them up, run them in. If even one gets through, it should be able to get rid of this command center. Right, the AKs inside should be able to get rid of the command center because these units coming in here will certainly get rid of the tower. They'll most certainly get rid of that tower. But no, unfortunately, kmar is playing a futile defensive war. This is absolutely futile. There's no winning this. kmar has lost unless kmar goes for the killing blow. It's the only way kmar has to actually win this game. So yeah, Daniil coming in at 1-0. I apologize there's no win counter here because I can't get the crew playlist to work. The images don't line up, and this playlist does not have a win counter, unfortunately. It doesn't have the win counter display. The win counter is on, the display isn't. But yeah, that's game. kmar just lost because, like I said, didn't go for the killing blow. Like, kmar could have taken that. Well, when they first had air dominance, they could have taken that. Well, anyway. When they first had air dominance, they could have taken that. Okay, now line of sight's working again. That was weird. But that was it. So yeah, Daniil has taken game 1. Daniil has taken game 1. So that is going to be first game. Holy crap. kmar needs to get back in. That's going to be a bit of an uphill struggle, I'm afraid. Now, I think kmar will be able to do that. Like I said, that was actually really close, too. At least, like, there was that time where kmar got air dominance. But kmar, with the air dominance, did the Valkyrie drop. then it would have worked. Because kmar had air dominance for a while. It looks like we're going to be onto Conquest of Paradise again? Yeah, apparently, Conquest of Paradise. Which for some reason is not being allowed directly. But yeah, moving on to Conquest of Paradise, which we saw before. Really bright tropical map. It was the one that was actually meant for the losers bracket. As you can see on the tournament there, it was meant for losers bracket round 1. We saw it in a match between Kalina and Jin. Once again, we see it in Kalina and kmar. So Kalina, like I said, up by 1. But it is going to be... It is possibly going to be another long game. They're probably not as long. Conquest of Paradise is smaller. 16 by 16 rather than 20 by 16 we had in the last map. It was... That was long. So anyway, we are going to be moving on once the game starts. We're going to be moving on to Game 2. As Game 2 will possibly be Daniil Kalina victory, or it might be into tiebreaker. We'll see what happens once that gets... Well, we'll see what happens once that finishes, obviously. But until then, we have to simply watch and see what happens. Because that's kind of how it works. Once this is... Oops. Didn't want to do that. Open that wrong page. Darn it. Did not mean to show that off. Didn't mean to show this off either. In fact, I'll go to an image. There we go. Okay, now the game is starting. So we have Conquest of Paradise. kmar over in the southwest side of the map, who lost the last game to Daniil Kalina at the northeast side, who won the last game. And yeah, like I said, I can't actually... I can sort of show it. kmar, 0 wins. Neil with 1 win, or I could use Deluxe. Same problem. Wins, but yeah, the images are way off. So unfortunately... Can't use those, and the main player list does not, advanced player list, this one here, doesn't have the win counter hooks. Or it doesn't make use of them, rather. The win counter has the hooks, the advanced player list doesn't make use of them. Anyway, so yeah, 1 win currently for Daniil Kalina. kmar needs to win this, or kmar is out of the tournament. Let's see here, kmar going for, wow, really heavily, okay, let's look at this more closely. Power, metal. Power. Yeah, they're going pretty heavy economy. It looks like about 6 and 8. Oh no, 6 and 6. 6 and 6 for a factory, and Daniil Kalina going for their... Are they going for the typical? Typically we go for 5 and 2 first. See, that's... yep, 5 and 2 before factory, before KWatt Lab, while Daniil Kalina going for KWatt Lab as well, but 6 and 6 first. So Daniil kmar once again going for a very economic opening. They really do enjoy that economic opening. Daniil, on the other hand, always 5-2 into factory. And there may be a reason for that. It may be important. Because numbers matter a huge amount in this game. Unlike 0K, there isn't a huge amount of room. There is room for flanking. And we saw in the very first game, kmar was able to make use of local advantage by clumping the units up while their opponent, common player, was on a line. And thus, they managed to get more hits in. Basically, not quite focus fire, but the same general idea of getting that level of local advantage. That's pretty much all you can do in NOTA. Like, hit where your opponent doesn't have a lot of units clumped up while your units are clumped up. And fleas are coming out. Initially fleas for Daniil. So we'll be able to scout out what's going on. This is cross, unlike last time, which was north versus north. This is cross position, south versus north. And kmar just now starting up the KBot factory, while hammers coming in. Fleas into hammers. Not even going... I mean, Daniil made hammers work well in this. Actually, hammers and Zeus. Peewees eventually, but mostly hammers with some Zeus and Peewee. Daniil, I think, might want to just finish this quick. given that opening, I mean, you don't open with Zeus unless you're either expecting a vehicle-heavy strategy, which this map's pretty hilly. I don't know why you'd expect vehicles. Or you're expecting to have to deal with the tower very early on. And the K-Bot Factory is up for Kmar. We have, coming out of that, Sprintress, of course. Why do I even ask? It's always a Sprintress. So the Hammer's coming out, and from there we'll have the Zeus. Yes, Hammer and Zeus. I think Kmar's probably going to build up about a couple dozen of those, and then probably move them to center. Maybe attack? I don't know. I'm kind of guessing they're going to go for something aggressive, just given the early Zeus, but they might be just trying to counter vehicles. Oh, good point, Thorvus. Actually, I never really pointed that out. Yeah, Sprinters cost quite a lot of everything. But yes, they do in fact cost about 5 times as much energy as the AK, while also costing about 2.5 times as much metal. Very good point there. The Sprinters is actually, yeah, that is really important to point out. So, right now, Zeus, Rocco, Pee-wee coming in. Just trying to regroup. I mean, at this point, Kmar isn't really being aggressive. Daniil is being aggressive. Getting a Marquis as well eventually. Yeah, just getting up. Nice mix. Hammer, Huey, Zeus with some builders and radar in between. While Necro coming up for Kmar very quickly. I also point out that Kmar, their opening is kind of okay, I guess. Yeah, they only had about 9 Metal Extractors in their opening, whereas Daniil had actually also about 9. So they were even in this case. Unlike last game, which really gave Daniil the advantage ultimately. I mean, it slowed down Kmar, and admittedly, Kmar did have some chances, but it did come down to Kmar basically had to go for a massive suicide attack in order to win. That's not a good position to be in. Daniil, however, is not quite so economically advantaged. Like right now, it's 15.2 apiece. They are dead even. In fact, I think they're very even in energy too. It's like 2 energy difference. Yeah, it is dead even between the two. And it looks like we see a switch over from Sprintress to Thud, which are considerably cheaper too, for Kmar. Going away from their favorite unit into the Thud, which is probably more useful for the cost at least. Especially against all the Hammers and Zeus, that is likely a better option. The Hammer's going to just run crowd control on the Sprintress, no problem. We did see the Sprintress running circles around them somewhat, but even then, I don't know. That's not really the best idea. And mobile radar, so static radar up here as well for Kmar. So Kmar actually does have static radar. Kmar doesn't see a whole lot of the map though, and Daniil on the other hand also has mobile radar. Has static radar as well though. Both players with the static radar. And Daniil going over to the north, just trying to claim the north, trying to make sure it doesn't get attacked. So they weren't actually going for anything very aggressive. Quite the opposite, in fact. They were going for more of a defensive play. Trying to set this up quickly in order to avoid this area being contested. They can just take it. And looks like Kmar is doing something similar. Not with as many units, though, but doing something similar. Just naked expanding to the south. But at this point, Daniil's not going to deal with it. Not likely, anyway. And Kmar is also doing something that I wish people would do more often. Spreading their forces around for scouting purposes. They're spreading them around. I mean, admittedly, 1 or 2 of the Sprinters should probably move in and get themselves killed just to see what's going on inside of Daniil's base. But yeah, they're scouting. That's good. I'd like to see that. Kmar actually going for a second K-Bot Factory very quickly as well. Should point out that Kmar is up slightly by metal, but not by much. So Daniil could very easily throw this in as well. Daniil right now has 16 metal, while Kmar has 20. But Daniil is very quickly getting more and more metal, so it's still pretty even. But no additional factories for Daniil. Actually, Daniil is falling behind. They're building a lot of wind. That's the thing. They're building a lot of energy, while on the other hand, Kmar is starting to get low on energy. Very low on energy. And I should point out that metal extractors do in fact require energy in order to run. So losing energy means losing metal. That's the thing to point out. I forgot to point that out before, and it might have been why I was mentioning... I mean, okay. The thing I was pointing out with Overdrive had to do with the placement of the power plants, not their number. Anyway, on to the match itself. It looks like Sprinters are actually doing a nice job getting rid of that Marquis, too. Not the biggest deal. The biggest deal is more the Hammers being gotten rid of, and the Sprinters basically managing to kill a lot of these without any casualties, getting rid of that Marquis, and thus reducing Daniil's vision. Not by much, though. There's still enough awareness going on that Daniil should be able to see where Kmar has sent all their forces. But kmar very quickly going over to the north, trying to deal with this nicely. Oh yeah, Scuzzy pointed out in the chat that apparently the south has more metal. Apparently my metal view isn't working, but yeah, actually, let's see, 6 metal extractors over here. Oh, like 7 or so. It is a difference. Kind of surprising too, actually. This map does look nearly symmetric, but it isn't. It's subtly asymmetric. Seems to happen a lot here. And at this point, kmar at a bit of an advantage. The north side being harassed out, but the Pee-wee against Sprintress. Sprintress will win. Wow, no contest. Sprintress just outright wins. Hammer's a bit more of a contest. And this, well, not Lotus, the Hatch Rack, it's called. The Hat Rack is getting killed. One Sprintress does go down. Not really much of a success there. I mean, Caesar's going on to the north. That's good. The information is the only real success. Everything else was kind of meh. And it looks like, is there a yes, there is a harassment force being sent to the south of Daniil's base onto the ridge. And Daniil not really able to deal with that yet. Daniil is aware of this, or will soon be aware of this, but they aren't yet. Thanks to having another Marquis in their forces, I believe. Do I see a Marquis? Yes, I do. There is, in fact, a Marquis. It is not on a hill. That is bad. It is in a valley. You never want to have radar in a valley. Put that thing on a hill. So these forces are now spotted. Daniil's well aware of them. Daniil well aware of them and will be probably trying to deal with them. Yeah, moving these forces back, moving these hammers back up here. Still moving some of the hammers and Zeuses over to the south, rather over the center, in order to try to deal with the forces that kmar has already there. Yeah, kmar, let's double check the economies. Kmar 24.8, Daniil at 23. Still fairly even, but kmar does have the production advantage, and that's starting to really come to fruition. Especially if this fight goes in kmar's favor, I think kmar's just going to have... kmar has a pretty large army here that should just go into harass. I thought kmar played 0k. Anyway, I think they should know. Damage. Okay, not so much in NOTA, but it's still pretty important to destroy your opponent's economy. Building your economy is important. Destroying your opponent's economy is also important. However, the Farks are getting killed. That's good. At least that's something. Actually, the north side is basically completely open. These sprinters, you know what? They're going for a better option. So kmar, okay, kmar, you were right. Your choice of action was actually far better than what I proposed. Although, admittedly, this Hat Rack is being a real pain, but it's going to go down pretty soon. It might kill... no, it's not going to kill another Sprinters. Oh, just barely. But yeah, the rest of these metal extractors are pretty open. Pretty much open to be killed. And the center of the map has... Now, forced kmar into a bit of a retreat. But like I said, kmar has the economic advantage, has the production advantage, has 3 factories, nearly 30 metal, compared to 20 metal income, and only 1 factory from Daniil. kmar is 1 air factory and 2 K-bot factories. The air factory is just being started, mind you, but there's still 2 K-bot factories pushing heavily the Sprintress. And another Sprintress attack coming in over to here. Having to deal, going uphill against a Hat Rack. Still going to kill the Hat Rack, but that's tough. Losing 2 Sprinters in the... Oh, only losing 1, okay. And this will kill off the entire north side. And the Sprinters attack over here, I don't know, is this going to manage to deal with the game? And this... No, I can't see that. Oh, never mind. I was about to say I can't see the explosion radius, but it doesn't matter because that is game. And we have it even. And I guess for the sake of everyone, despite the fact that the crude playlist looks horrible, I shall... Oh, come on. Stupid engine default. So yeah, wins 1-1. kmar and Daniil are tied 1-1. We're moving on to the finals. Absolute last match of the 0K tournament. And it's going to be on... Actually, everyone's pointing out that the whole map input thing. Okay, one thing to point out, actually that was a few minutes ago. One thing to point out about the map input thing is that it's... You can choose... If the map imbalance happens alongside the start boxes are, like so you could choose whether or not you're on the strong side or the weak side, that's still kind of bad because it should be all strong sides, there should be all good choices, but at least there's a way to mitigate the problem. Like if both players start south, then it's kind of even. North versus south apparently is weaker to north. But south on south is an option. It's not like if it was north and south start box, that would be a bigger problem. If that was the case, there'd be no way around it. But at least this way, there's some way of mitigating it. Even then, though, just symmetric maps for tournaments, people. In general, it's a general rule. Yeah, so we have... Anyway, on to the brackets once again. So yeah, 1-1. Kmar and Daniil Kalina are even. Daniil Kalina gets map choice, and once that's done, looks like... Oh, we don't know what the map is yet. Daniil has map choice. Once Daniil has chosen the maps... And Wagon Repair, I think you can put a Valkyrie on the hat rack, because it is transportable. You put a Valkyrie on the hat rack. Possibly put Hex. Alright, Skazi, I suppose, yes, they should probably know what they're doing. That was a bit of a mistake of mine. It just looked like there was an open area, and Kmar did take the better option for harassing. I was wrong. And taking Crude Player List, I would put Crude Player List on if it weren't for the fact that the Advanced Player List has the images that Crude Player List doesn't. Crude Player List doesn't seem to be grabbing the right images. I suppose I could throw in the override. I could try that. Actually, no, I'm going to try that. I think I can put in override images. I'm not sure, though. But I'll see. You know, I'll pull in all the images. Oh, wait, I have override images for the arrows. Crap. Okay, well, I'll pull in all the images from what I have for the 0K repo. Except the CCC folder. And, oops. And then from there, I will definitely have the images needed. A lot of images, though. No, not that. Okay, it's not that big. Alright, so I'll try that, and that should be able to allow me to load up the crude player list. I don't think the deluxe player list will work, because the deluxe player list, I think, requires some specific knowledge of the actual economy in question for the game. If it does work, though, that'd be awesome. But I don't think it will. Skip. Okay, so I have the images in my local override. I should be able to show the deluxe playlist for the next game. Or at least the crude playlist. Maybe not deluxe, but more likely crude. And we are going to be playing on Titan Duel. Very last map for this tournament is going to be Titan Duel. Titan Duel is a map that should be very familiar to anyone who has been watching anything that I've done for 0K, because it is going to be a... Well, it's going to be a map that everyone knows. It's very vehicle heavy in 0K. I'm not sure if what it's like in... What is it? Oh yeah, NOTA. That's the game we're playing right now. What am I saying? I don't know how it's like in NOTA, but I know that is a popular one in 0K. Very vehicle heavy. Vehicle, tank, and hovercraft, of course, because hovercraft is so popular right now. But definitely vehicle and tank. Now, of course, in NOTA, that might not be the case because K-bots are just used more frequently. The size of map scene is appropriate for K-bots is about 16 by 16. So I might see that instead. Did I just get started already? Oh yeah, Deluxe Playlist does actually show faction icons. No, sorry, not faction icons. It shows... I don't think it shows faction icons. I might be wrong. It might be something in there. It's not needed for 0K, so I've never seen it. I know it shows clan and country and a few other things. But anyway, I'm just going to check that out. Since the game has started, I can actually play around with the playlist options. See, Crude works fine. Deluxe also actually seems to work okay. Huh, cool. Alright then. Oh, I should probably turn off advanced playlist in that case. Yeah, so we're not going to be able to see faction. I'm sorry. But we'll finally be... Oh, for crying out loud. There we go. Okay, we'll finally be able to see... Where's the font size? Ah, great. I can't change the font size. That's just perfect. And yeah, I don't know why I can't change the font size. That's really annoying. Well, that works, anyway. Shows country, shows wins. And then, once this is all set up, then we will have the game. What? Or not, apparently. Okay, so we will have... Not sure what happened there. Okay, there's playing around with boxes. This is this is why I really like the way that Springy is handled, where the maps just have start boxes. Yeah, it doesn't appear to have faction icons, I'm afraid. Or if it does, it might be a setting I don't have on. I don't see any setting for that, though. Yeah, I don't see anything. Oh, shoot. The winds are off, too. Whoa, what the hell? Okay, darn it. My Lua UI got screwed up. Okay, one sec. Damn it, this is annoying. Sorry, this is not working out very well. Oh, this isn't 0K data. Damn, I'm in this situation again. Oh, I apologize, guys. It's... bear with me. I thought I had this. Apparently I don't. Where is the win counter stuff? Justin's about to work. That stupid game dies and it gives people false wins. And Kmar won the last game. Okay. Good. And the win counter back on, and deluxe playlist not updating. What the hell? Damn it. Sorry, I wish these players would pause. I really am sorry. I don't want to have this. It's not working out the way I wanted to. I really need to get that set function in here because this is getting annoying. Like, it screws up and I can't do anything about it. I don't know why I can't do anything about it. Okay, forget it! Forget it, we're not having a win counter. Like, this just... stupid thing screwing up on me. Because they had to have the game screw up last time. I really wish that Chile had some way of... some proper interface for setting numbers of things. So whatever. Game started. Kmar's gone for core, as usual, gone for a super heavy economy build. Going for K-bots early on. While Daniil going for vehicles early on, no surprises there. Oh, I might as well turn the advanced playlist back on then. Going for vehicles, and I can't believe this thing keeps screwing up. It's like, if they hadn't... I don't know why they quit that last game. I think because the stupid start box thing. Seriously, just use Springy. The start boxes are already laid out. It's not that hard. Or have Spads connect to the whole Springy setup where it knows what start boxes to start with. The whole start box thing is just total... It's the one thing that I hate about the Spring engine. The stupid start box crap. At least the fact that it can be configured in the lobby. That's just... should be a map-based thing. Anyway, rant aside, Panthers coming out from Daniil Kalina. Panthers and Sears, while we have, once again, Sprintress as usual, coming out from Kmar. They very much enjoy going for Sprintress. And we have Seer coming in here, so that is going to be... do I have the kind of enabled? No, I'll probably enable that at least. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's being weird. I can't set it manually. I'm sorry. Thought I could set it in text? Can't. Yes, I am... well, it's not why I'm called Shadow Fury, but yes, I am an angry person. I'm sorry. If that breaks any of your bubbles, I am sorry. I try not to be angry, but I am. So we have the Panther coming in here to the north. That is going to be going through the center, which actually is... now the Sprinters stopping pretty well. Nice harassment of the Sprinters on this Metal Extractor over to the south. Probably should go further south from there. And the Panther is... or... yeah, the Panther here is going... southeast, dealing with the Metal Extractor. While the... yes, this Metal Extractor setup, Daniil at this point basically has 8 Metal Extractors. 8 Metal Extractors for here, this, and actually, you know, I don't know if I could use advanced play. What the... Please, advanced player list. Oh yeah, advanced player list actually does, or not, deluxe player list actually does work. You can see what's going on. Although, that does mean I have to kind of mess up with this. Oh, why are you restarting? You don't need to restart from... Oh, damn it. Don't restart for me. Whatever, at least I can now set the wins, but don't restart for me. Okay, so, yeah. Now they've restarted, I guess, as an act of charity? I don't know. I don't need that. I could follow it just fine. Great. Now it's just... becoming real clown shoes. Okay. Wins are back in place. At least that's one benefit of this. The wins are back in place. I'm going to just cut this, everything before then out. These are the grand finals. Grand finals. Last match, 1-1. Thinking I should probably put this in a slightly more visible location. I really don't know where best to put it. Align to top, I guess, and then put it here with this over here and zooming down. Yeah. I don't know. We'll do that. That might just work. Yeah, Kmar and Daniil... Oh, that's a bad spot. Never mind. Sorry, y'all. So many things that NOTA needs to do better. So, anyway, Kmar and Daniil Kalina, they're even right now, and Daniil Kalina is going for pretty typical... Is he going for typical 5-2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5-2 into Vehicle Factory. Same build as last time from the looks of it. And Kmar going for 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they're going for, once again, fairly economical. Into K-Bots, while vehicles are what Daniil Kalina is going for. And yeah, they restarted because they... I don't know, for me, I guess, I really didn't need that. It was fine. I mean, it was a bit of a pain that I didn't have the win counter, and now I do, so okay, that's great. Still not sure why it was trying to rewrite as it was loading. I guess this is a bug for being the wrong game. Shouldn't actually have that bug, though. It should be game agnostic. Regardless, Kmar and Daniil Kalina are even. This is the last game. And we have... Let's see... The vehicle plant is being built up. K-Bot factory, not quite there yet. It is still about... How many... What's next? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, so there's 2 more power plants and then the K-Bot factory. So this is 5 and 6. 5 and 6 out of Kmar as usual. Kmar likes to go for the economic build. I don't think it'll work in this case, though. I think the Panther will be kind of messed up. And I would move it under res bars, except for the fact that the chat is kind of there. I can't actually move the chat. I guess it's engine chat or something. If I could do that, then this would be a good spot for it, but I can't. Because it would mean I could just use this in place of the res bars. And the font is also not as big as I'd like it to be. Yeah, I don't know. It's being weird. Don't know why it's not configurable. I think because I don't get advanced settings in this menu. Doesn't matter. That really doesn't matter. What matters is that there is actually an opening seer rather than an opening panther. Mobile radar, which means that we do have, for Daniil at least, a decent amount of radar moving forward, which will soon be able to see everything. And this, by the way, Titan Duel, a very small map by NOTA standards, considering the radar range, and also considering just the size of stuff. Considering the size of the build radius here, considering the size of everything. Like, Titan Duel is tiny by NOTA standards. It's moderate size by 0K standards, but it's tiny by NOTA standards. Admittedly, units are also fairly tiny. Yeah, I have tried. I can't. I think font is an advanced setting, and I can't turn on advanced settings using this version of Epic Menu. I don't know why. I mean, I might be able to edit it in the text. I have no idea. I really don't know, actually. Probably. Usually it's a thing you can do. I haven't a clue where it is, though. Wouldn't say this is the best time to do it. Anyway, we have from here no real attack so far. Panther's going on here. The Seer is in place. Can see a lot of what is going on in Kmar's base. Kmar, however, with static radar, able to see everything. So Kmar is officially map hacking, using the official map hack. And Daniil, on the other hand, is not quite map hacking as hard. But yeah, given the size of this map, it is pretty much Daniil assuming that they can win in the early game and just win with the early unit micro. And kmar, I don't know if they're really playing that map, but at the same time, they are going for a vehicle factory on top of this. Haven't actually told it to build anything yet, but they are going for the vehicle factory. They are going for pyros, and they will be fighting up against the Panthers and Jeffies. A couple Jeffies going over to the northeast side of the map. Did I say K-bots? Yes, it did. Apparently, Jeffies are K-bots. Odd. Anyway, sending the Jeffies over to the north side of the map. Not really able to do much, though. There's no defenses, mind you. And Sprinter is trying to do what it can to get rid of the Panther, which is die. That's all it can do. It can die. It can die a horrible, painful death. As can that Necro. As can all these metal extractors, though these pyros, they will not quite die so quickly. Unlike their 0k equivalent, however, they cannot jump. They just sort of hang out with fire. Well, okay, there's only a particle in there. Yeah, they just sort of hang out. And even then, they aren't really going to get close enough easily to kill the Panther. This one's dead. The rest of them might have a chance, though. The rest of them might be okay. And where's the vehicle? Oh, yeah, the vehicle plant. Building up, well, a construction vehicle, and then more Jeffies and Panthers. Now, the Jeffies over to the northeast haven't done much. They will be actually... Oh, laser tower being built up from the main factory, and that will push them out of the way. But Raiders coming in here, kmar's favorite, as the Pyros come in and get rid of all the Panthers. Wow, that works out nicely. Or at least in theory it does. The Panthers are wisely moving backwards, but having a hard time doing so without getting hit by the side armor at least. And Jeffy's trying to come in as well, but the Raiders are just hitting them too hard. Raiders, once again, do have stronger front armor than Panthers do. And the Panther here is actually facing the back. The back armor is what's facing the Raiders. They're getting a lot of nice shots, and the Jeffies are running good interference, though. But even that Panther is priority target, and it is... Is it going to go down? Ooh, maybe. It's strafing very nicely. And hit the wrong side of the armor, but that finally finishes it off. However, the Raider also is finished off, killing the Jeffies with this explosion. And at this point, it looks like there is actually a slight advantage for kmar. 954 metal, or actually 1.1 thousand metal in their main military. It's kind of weird to read this now because there's no commander adding to it. The tower here adds to defense, I think. Actually, I don't know if it adds to anything. I don't know if it's actually considered cost. But if it is, it adds to defense, not to offense. So I can actually very easily see what the actual offense values are. The commander doesn't become part of that. Anyway, the Raiders moving for counterattack. Kmar has the unit advantage. They have a pretty strong unit, very strong unit advantage, actually. 1.4 metal, 1.4 metal, and like I said, 2 factories. The airplane factory is being built up. It is starting to get some... Is these Vasps? Not Vasps. Are these Toadfoots? There we go. This is the equivalent. They are getting some Toadfoots up, which is good. But at this point, Daniil has 16 metal to kmar's 19. Kmar's 19, Daniil's at 16, if you're only looking at the top right corner. And kmar is going to... Oh, it occurs to me I should have closed the patio door. Anyway, kmar is going to be setting up... Oh boy. Well, again, he's setting up a pretty powerful army at this point. I mean, all these Panthers running in, they're just being wasted. Necro's around here. Oh, wow, this Necro. And it is tasked to reclaim this area. That is going to be awesome for kmar. I think kmar's going to take it from there. Like, it's just the sheer amount of Raiders right here. That's going to go for a flank. That's going to go around the south side. And that will force Daniil back a bit. But at the same time, going alongside of these K-bots, so Daniil has to try to choose which one they think is a better option to try to deal with. Like, which one's best for the Toadfoots, which one's best for their Jeffies and Panthers. But I think they've chosen poorly. The Jeffies are going to go down very quickly to the Pyros. And as long as if the Panthers get close to the Pyros, they're kind of screwed. And the Raiders along the south side, those are going to be able to get rid of the metal extractors. The Toadfoots won't be able to deal with them quickly enough. And an airplane factory for good measure from kmar, just in case. Kmar at this point, wow. 42 metal to 17 because of the reclaim. Just even 22 base, but 42, or at least 40 some odd when they get the reclaim going. That is insane. And even with the tower helping out, these Raiders are moving in. They seek blood. They're moving in for the kill. They're going to take out that vehicle factory. They're going to try to take out everything else. And these Pyros, weakening the Panthers the best they can. They are not going to survive this, but at least they can weaken the Panthers so that the Raiders can get in And the Raiders are going for that factory. Trying to take that out first, which is not a bad idea. They should be able to take out the tower, but just get rid of the factory first, just to avoid any reinforcements. Stop them at their source. The Panthers coming in. The Panthers will be flanking along with a couple of their pair, or a couple of their member, which is already in here. A couple of their number, that's what I wanted to say. Which are already here with the Toadfoots. So getting rid of the factory was a good idea because these Raiders are not actually doing a whole lot of damage to anything else. They got rid of the air factory, that'd be very useful too. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen, and the vehicle factory here getting built up while the air factory getting hit. If they get rid of the air factory, that is going to be a massive blow. But no, going for the metal extractor instead. I mean, not a bad idea, but that air factory was huge. And now the vehicle plant's back up. The air factory is still going. And at this point, that was a massive economic, or actually military advantage. Has shifted over to Daniil, 2.1 metal, 2.1,000 metal compared to, actually now 2.1 for Kmar, but it was 1.8. But Kmar going for Avengers, trying to get rid of the Toadfoots in the air. At this point, 3 Toadfoots to 1 Avenger? 2 Avengers, one of them is in production. So yeah, 1 Avenger on the field. And at this point, Raiders trying to deal with the Panthers. Oh no, Stumpies. No, it's Panthers, never mind. Trying to deal with the Panthers here. And man, that use of Panther, that stealth tanks, the fact that they can't be spotted on radar is probably what's causing Kmar to be unable to see them as they go through. The Panthers just hit them by surprise every time. Or almost every time. Because the radar is of no use. But yeah, Pyro's coming in here for another pass at trying to take this out. Trying to go for the aggressive approach, which I think is actually starting to work against Kmar. And Kmar lost a lot in that first attack. Got rid of the vehicle factory, but not for very long. Didn't really buy themselves any time as a result. And they lost a lot of units, which doesn't really help. Now, Avengers coming in, trying to get rid of the Toadfoots. Not working out. I mean, 1 Avenger against 2 Toadfoots. The Toadfoots will probably... Yeah, the Toadfoots definitely win. One of the Toadfoots was nearly killed, but even then, Kmar just falling behind once again. Now, Kmar still has a bit of a chance to build up, and Kmar does actually now have an economic disadvantage because of that reclaim. They donated a bunch of metal, and that ultimately does not work out very well. They need to start dealing with these metal extractors on the side, get rid of this army too, and the Toadfoots are huge. 5 so far, and once again, this is where I wonder why there isn't more ground-based AA being used. There might be a reason for it, but these Toadfoots beat air AA. They beat Avengers. They might not beat Freedom Fighters, but they beat Avengers. And it looks like possibly for cost too, I'm not sure. But yeah, they beat Avengers. I just don't know why it's not being... Why we aren't seeing more slashers. Because I'm pretty sure slashers are core, right? Yes, they are. Damn it, this stupid thing. It's just why does it always have to redo this when it's in the middle of... I really wish there was an option to get rid of that. Anyway, I mentioned before. But... Yeah, a lot of technical difficulties this cast. I'm sorry. I'm using a lot of local override widgets from 0K so that I can actually get the stats display I'm used to. Most of these are not NOTA widgets. This minimap, this resource bar, and what comes up when you select a unit, that's NOTA. Everything else is my own local config because I need to have more information. So, besides that, yeah, Daniil basically just turning this around. Kmar, if Kmar could get rid of the Toadfoots, it would be huge, but Kmar just keeps firing Avengers in single file. Like 1 Avenger against 3 Toadfoots, that's not going to work. Avengers will not win. If you look at the stats, Toadfoots have the advantage. Max HP is 3 compared to... Come on. Tell me what the Avenger is. Compared to... Come on! Man. There we go. Here we go, max HP of 200. Damage 4 times... Like, I mean, the missiles, yes, but the machine gun as well. 62 DPS compared to 60, but even then, it's just... It's not really worth it. Avengers get some lucky shots here and there, but really... And it's a matter of who's behind. I mean, that 1 Avenger actually did a really good job because it kind of got lucky. Got rid of 2 Toadfoots. But even then... It's going to come down possibly to ground war. The advantage is kind of leveled off. Daniil and... Both Daniil and Kmar are pretty even. There is a Necro in the center that is building on metal extractors, which it looks like Daniil is trying to deal with and will be able to deal with, no problem. While Raiders come in for yet another counterattack. That's probably not going to work out too well. I mean, they have spotted it. They are going for defense now. Moving in to try to stop those Panthers. And more Avengers coming up. But like I said, it's what, 2 Avengers now? Yeah, 2 Avengers on the field compared to 4 Toadfoots. Admittedly, 2 of those Toadfoots are in production. But yeah, that's the thing. There's 2 air factories for Daniil. Even though Daniil is actually getting... Daniil with 17 metal is actually not able to support all 3 factories, but there are still 3 factories. And actually, that's the one saving grace here, is that right now, Daniil isn't actually building any units other than these Toadfoots. And the Toadfoots are starting to go down. The Avengers are starting to catch up to them. The ground war, however, is pretty much Kmar's at this point. Once again, the advantage has swung over to Kmar. And it is, I think, going to actually work pretty well. Even with the Toadfoots here, Panthers got some shots on them for free, basically. And the vehicles here, like I said, the armor, and the rear armor of the Panthers being exposed. One of the Panthers goes down immediately, and the Avengers... Wow. 3 Avengers now with how many Toadfoots? No Toadfoots. The Avengers actually managed to pull it off. Kmar managed to micro them and made it work. Well done, Kmar. These Panthers now being used on attack. And the Raiders pulling back to defend. I'm a bit surprised these 4 Raiders aren't going forward here to try to continue raiding as well. Like, these Raiders here are enough for defense, but I think Kmar might be worried there's another wave of Panthers that's going to be coming in and has to be mindful of that. I mean, Panthers are probably pretty intimidating. We don't have radar coverage. Just look at what... I mean, the purple... Well, purplish. The main... Yeah, purplish is line of sight. Yellow is radar. Look how much radar there is, and that none of the Panthers are visible there. So knowing where the Panthers is, that's a bit paranoia-inducing. I imagine it probably is. So it's going to be Raiders coming in here. Still 15 Raiders. That is quite powerful, and another Toadfoot attack coming in, which actually misses quite a lot. And the Avenger coming in to try to deal with that, which will be successful once again, from the looks of it. Yeah, it gets on the Toadfoot 6 and takes it out. Completely destroys it. Nicely done there. And another Panther attack coming in the north, which is spotted out. But looks like most of the Raiders deciding to go in straight. No, never mind. They are going in north. I was going to say, they probably should go north, deal with these metal extractors first, and then deal with the tower. But some of them are going south to deal with the tower and deal with these metal extractors over here. And the others are going north just to finish that off, pick it off, and I think Kmar is going to take this. The advantage has swung back, and it swung back very strong. There is still a chance, though. It's not over. Certainly not over yet. These Panthers could be used quite well. Could get rid of these Raiders before the metal extractors are too heavily damaged. No, never mind. The metal extractors are down. The Raiders might still be destroyed. It'll kind of come down to whether or not these Raiders can deal a whole lot of damage. If they can kill the tower, it's obviously game. If they don't kill the tower, that's a lot of reclaim that can be used for Daniil to get back in. The Daniil only has 11 metal compared to Kmar's 21. Daniil has 10. Given that, it's going to be fairly difficult. These Toadfoots are doing what they can. And what they can is actually quite a lot. And Kmar focusing on the solar plants, trying to cut off the power, thus cutting off metal production, because metal won't be able to run without power. Because right now, there is a lot of power in reserve. This is really not the ideal thing to do. Getting rid of the metal extractors is good. Getting rid of the tower is obviously winning the game. And it looks like after the harassment in the north, Raiders moving south. I want to say rapiers, but no, that's not in this game. Maybe, but not what I'm thinking of. And these Panthers forcing them away. And once again, Kmar donating a lot of metal, giving Daniil a chance to get back in the game. Now, Pyro's coming in wave 2. Pretty quick wave 2 as the Panthers are out of position, but they are going to be able to move into position very quickly. And these solar plants, I can kind of see why Daniil builds them like this, actually, because the units move through. They get kind of confused as to what to fire upon. And they have this forest of solar collectors, and they're just turning their turrets back and forth, trying to hit them, not dealing a whole lot of damage, maybe killing 1 or 2. But it distracts them from hitting the tower, hitting metal extractors, hitting factories. That's actually really clever. I'm surprised I didn't notice that before, but that's really clever how it just messes with the unit AI. And yeah, I think this might, the fact panel thing might be just, it's messing. No, I can't change the font size. I think it's that NOTA just messes with the font size a bit and makes it really small. The best engine font size I find is 16 for main text and 14 for small text. I think this is like 12 for small text. I have to double check my spring settings afterwards, actually. Anyway, the Avenger here, and there are enough Avengers here. The Toadfoots, there are 5 Toadfoots, but the Avengers are actually, maybe not. This one does fine. So yeah, overall, the air war is, it's definitely gone to Kmar. Actually, Kalina looked like they lost a factory, didn't they? It looks like they did, because they had 2 air factories, now they only have 1, so they must have lost an air factory. Rule of logic. And at this point, just pure Pyro, Raider, and some Avengers. I'm a bit surprised there isn't a switch over to Vasps or to anything else. I mean, yeah, Shadows maybe, but Vasps would be... Shadows or Vasps, one of the two. Just to help finish this off. But yeah, Avengers, just to get rid of the Toadfoots. I mean, at this point, Avenger numbers are about 5, Toadfoot numbers are about 4. It's still pretty close to parity. There isn't really an advantage to the Avengers quite yet. The Air War has not yet been won. It's getting close, but it hasn't yet been won. And it's very important to point that out, although admittedly, it is definitely getting close. That much is very true. At this point, 3 Toadfoots to, it looks like about 5 Avengers. So slowly but surely the Avengers are getting the advantage, but they still need to be produced. If they aren't produced, they will lose all their numbers and die. And it looks like, I think this is the attempt to win the game. Direct attack from kmar. The Panthers, however, coming for a nice flank. These units having to move back, get out of there. And unfortunately, exposing their back armor, not quite moving back as well as they'd like. A lot of them exposing their back armor, all of them exposing, oh no, these ones are not. But so many of them were that all those Raiders died. However, a bit of a distraction, the Pyro was able to move, just sneak in behind that. And they're going straight for the tower. This is a win shot. This is a attempt at a tower kill. Gonna try to kill, just trying to finish this off. And it looks like it will be successful, I think. Yeah, going for the factory as well, sort of. The Pyros are not stopping at the tower. Why they're not stopping at the tower is beyond me. I think they're trying to kill the air factory as well. Yeah, they're going to kill the air factory without issue, and then go for the tower, and that will end it. Kmar has won the NOTA End of Summer Tournament. Congratulations to Kmar, and well done to everyone else too, but Daniil did well. Leifel had some interesting progression, and Common Player also did quite well. So yeah, well done. But yeah, that is going to be game. Even if those Pyros didn't do it, there's Raiders coming in that'll just finish it off. Or they would if they weren't getting stuck on everything else. Yeah, these Raiders will finish it off. And if not then there's going to be another round of Pyros coming in. And another round of Raiders. There's no factories for Daniil. There's 2 vehicle factories for Kmar. As well as the airplane plant. I mean, once this last couple Toadfoots are done, as one Toadfoot... Where's the other Toadfoot? I don't know where the other Toadfoot is. But yeah, Daniil rebuilding, getting a K-Bot factory, not quite done yet. Not throwing in the towel quite yet. Though at 5 metal, I don't know how much chance they have. 26-6. Yeah, that is basically game. So this is going to be one more attack, I think. I mean, the command center is healing up. Didn't realize they could do that. Apparently they can. Do auto heal. I thought they didn't before. I thought it was like whatever damage you dealt remained dealt. But I guess not. However, it doesn't matter because that is game. Daniil blew everything up and has surrendered 2-1. Kmar wins 2-1 on Daniil Kalina. Congratulations to Kmar. So the final standings are Kmar in first, Daniil Kalina in second, Common Player in third, and Leifel in fourth. After that, I'm not so sure. It gets a little bit wonky to try to work out, but yeah, that was it. So nicely done. So I hope you enjoyed that. That is going to be it for me. Apologize for all the technical difficulties and the slight anger. That is going to be it. That is going to be the tournament. That is also going to be the stream for tonight, or today, because that was my stream for today. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the game, even though it's not a game that really gets shown off much, so somewhat unfamiliar. But I hope you did enjoy that, and thank you all for watching. Have a good night, everyone.